Catus Maximus here again, this time with a quick review and basic overview of the Performance Tool W80650 steering wheel lock plate tool. If you want to know the truth, I've actually never used one of these. All the vehicles I've ever removed the steering wheels from, I've never had to deal with interacting with the lock plate, but it's a critical portion. And I had done a review in comparison earlier of these steering wheel pullers, and some of my subscribers had, or people who had commented, I don't know if they're actually subscribers, that another critical portion to go along with the steering wheel pullers is this lock plate tool. And would you imagine, within a couple of months I managed to find a used unit, and this is quite an old unit, surprisingly enough, at copyright 2000, so it's almost 20 years old. Now, I used to, Performance Tool has always been kind of a cheap budget tool brand, but then I never actually had noticed that their warranty policy, and on the package they had written that you'll need an original sales receipt for a replacement, which is unfortunate. So Performance Tool doesn't actually stamp anywhere on here PT, so if you lose your receipt, you have no warranty, and that's pretty unacceptable for a hand tool. So just based off that fact alone, I will recommend against getting Performance Tool products unless you pay $3 like I paid for this set. Otherwise, that's just a ridiculous warranty. Who keeps a receipt for years and years on a hand tool and then be told that you don't get a warranty because you don't have the receipt? It's totally ridiculous. Not in this modern day and age, where even brands like Tekton apparently will allow you to send photographs of broken tools and they'll just send you a new one. Synex also does that, so those are brands I would recommend. Anyway, as far as this Performance Tool set, it comes with 5 pieces. We have both a metric and imperial, steering shafts or threaded adapters. And they are color-coded. They are aluminum, so they're going to be pretty weak, although apparently working with lock plates you don't use a lot of force, so they ought to work okay. But it's still a little bit unfortunate because they have these thin walls to slide over to the end of the steering wheel shaft, and if they get dropped or banged around in the toolbox, they're going to get dented up pretty darn easily, and so that's always a disappointment. It has the basic bolt, and then the bolt threads has a little nut, and this little nut's actually what's providing the pressure against the spring tension of the lock plate, and of course a yoke or a horseshoe plate. And then this thing was, I don't think somebody put so much torque on to actually cause that fork to bend out and actually cause it to get deformed like this. I believe this is just the quality of a Performance Tool product, that this yoke is just not, particularly well made. This whole set really, I'm not exactly sure what it retails for, but it seems like at max maybe a $10 product. But I did want to do a review because I'd done a review about the steering wheel pullers, and then this is the other critical aspect of it. How this thing would generally work, as I understand it, is you would put it through, you would find the appropriate adapter that threads onto the shaft, you'd take this adapter and you'd thread it onto here. You wouldn't thread it onto here, you would thread it onto the end of the steering wheel adapter, then you would thread the bolt into it until the end of this bolt actually stops against the post. And then what you do is you hold this nut or hold the end of the long bolt, and then you run the nut up, and that's what provides the drawing pressure, the release of spring tension. You slide the lock plate kind of over this adapter and then slowly run the nut back down to safely release the spring tension. And that's the big deal, is the lock plates have some pretty big springs in them, so that's why they have these tools to work with. Surprisingly enough, it did include an instruction sheet, and I'll just hold it up right here so everybody who may not have instructions for these now has at least an idea of how to use them, not just a Performance Tool, but with any steering wheel lock plate tool. Because initially they're a little confusing, and the instructions do help. I like the way it says print instructions on sheet of paper to include in pouch with tools. They probably didn't need to put that line on there, but I always find those kind of things amusing. The only real positive comment I can really say about this out of all of them is that the knurling, because it's aluminum, actually did come out pretty nice. So there is some pretty nice knurling on these adapters to really thread them on nice and easily. And that the threads that are inside them were actually manufactured pretty well. as you would expect, aluminum's an easy material to work with. Anyway, I just wanted to bring a quick review, an overview of this tool, because I only found just a couple of basic videos on YouTube. So I did have the instructions and thought I'd just put that information out there for everyone. Also, if you're ever considering ordering the performance tool, now you can have an idea of what to expect to get, and it is a cheap product. Probably about Harbor Freight grade would be the easiest way to put it. And due to their next to useless warranty, this is basically a as-is tool when you buy it from PT. However, I have found locally that there is one auto shop that does sell PT tools, and I had asked about that warranty on the back when I saw this, and they said, you know, if you have a problem, that they would deal with it, and so that would be the one exception. Otherwise, you probably will be doing yourself a favor to get yourself a slightly higher quality brand that at least has better warranty coverage, and then the higher quality brands will also come with better quality components and stronger bolts and fasteners, making it less likely that you'll ever actually need to use that warranty. Anyway, this was just a quick review. I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Catus Maximus out.